Bratislava, the Slovakian capital. Should you take some time to visit it, I'm going to head to the city just over my shoulder to try and find out. So we're ashore in Bratislava, but it's modern Bratislava. We have a castle to head to. And that's the castle over there on the hill. Go on, am I the only one thinking of Ed Sheeran at this moment? Now, as we head to the castle, what of Bratislava, which is on the banks of the river Danube? Well, once it was part of the Habsburg Empire and then Czechoslovakia, now it is the capital of Slovakia, with a population of around 500,000. Oh, we'll walk down there a little later in this video. On the way up to the castle, we took in the presidential palace and the hills on the opposite side where many of the ambassadors live. Thankfully, as we neared the castle, the weather cleared. You know what they say? The sun shines on the righteous. Now, what of Bratislava? Most likely there's two ways you'll visit this city, either as part of a Danube river cruise like me, or you might fly on a budget airline into the capital or Vienna and visit it. And hopefully this video will help you decide if this place is one you need to visit. Well, if you're new to the channel, you won't know this, but if you're a regular, you will. I cannot resist a castle. A castle on a hill, I definitely can't resist that. I tell you one thing, if you've got a castle on a hill, it's to have a view over the land around. I'm pretty sure that's what we're about to find. What a view. You can take in 3 countries. Slovakia, where the rain that was with us is currently falling, is Hungary, and then pretty close up, you've got Austria as well. Well, you have to agree. It's a pretty good view. Bratislava Castle has a museum inside it. We didn't have the time to take it in, but we did have the opportunity to see these small gardens. It's funny really, because that bridge, the new bridge, when I saw the photos of it I didn't like it, but when you see it here, it looks kind of cool. Looks like a UFO's coming to land. Oh, we can go a bit higher for another view. Well, that is another castle ticked off the list. Sadly didn't have time to go inside, so I don't know if there's anything worth seeing in there. If you've maybe been here before and you can let us know, do so in the comments below. But we need, on this whistle stop tour, to get back on a bus because we're heading into central Bratislava now, or certainly the old part of Bratislava, to have a look around. So we are back in central Bratislava. The castle is up there, and the river Danube is there. I'm not sure what we can get to see really in an hour, but we'll give it a go and hopefully give you a flavour of what you can see in Bratislava if you come on a boat or if you come for a weekend. Less than, say, 2 minutes walk from the Danube is St Martin's Cathedral. It was famed as the coronation site of Hungarian kings and queens. Right next to the cathedral is the Neolog Synagogue Memorial, which commemorates the 105,000 Slovak victims of the Holocaust. Now, the memorial itself stands on the site of the old synagogue, which was actually demolished in 1969 by the then communist regime to build the highway that we drove on a little earlier. Sadly, there was to be no beer or food for me on this occasion. I was short of time, But I was keen to see a modern sculpture that this city has become recently well known for. Unsurprisingly, for a relatively small city, doesn't feel the biggest old town to walk around. It reminds me a lot of the sort of size of Tallinn, I suppose. That sort of size of city to walk around. Now look, if you've watched any videos about Bratislava, there is one thing you see a lot. A statue of a man who looks like he's trying to crawl out of a manhole cover. Well, there's a crowd ahead of me which tends to suggest it's not too far away. So it's funny, isn't it, how you can walk around a historic city and see all of those old buildings, and yet you get a queue for a man coming out of a manhole cover and somebody wanting to kiss him on the top of his head. Yeah, I think the dog was getting a little keen. Anyway, let's have a little bit more of a look around Bratislava. Well, the old part anyway. Lots of people want to go for the bloke coming out of the manhole cover. Not so many for the cheerful chap that we just saw. Anyway, look, we're in the main square now here in central Bratislava. And what do I make of Bratislava that I've seen so far? Well, I quite like it actually. It'll be a good place to come for a weekend, for a couple of nights. There's plenty of cafes and bars around. It all seems very close to each other. And if you have the energy, which if we had time, I certainly would have, you can go up the hill and get to the castle as well. So maybe not as much to see as you see in Prague, in truth, and that sort of place. But it's nonetheless still quite a nice place to come. And in fact, there's another little statue over here. And of course there is another little statue here. I think we can go and get a selfie on this one, can't we? Look, have a look. I just thought I'd take in the view with my mate. Should we ask him what he reckons of the video so far? What do you make of it so far? Yeah, I'm not sure he's too keen on my little video going around Bratislava. So it turns out the soldier isn't Napoleon. It's a French soldier though, and the story goes he was left behind, presumably by the French army, and he stayed here and fell in love with a local girl. And there he is, leaning on a bench. And you might see that his head and his nose looks like it's been touched quite a bit. So the story for him goes, if you touch the head, it's good luck. And if you touch the nose, you'll get pregnant. Not sure it's a problem I'm going to have. Look, clearly with such limited time, I didn't really get to see much of Bratislava. So for me, for a future visit, and for other travel lovers, if you can recommend some places to see in the city, let us know in the comments. If you wonder how far away from where your boat docks all of this is, unless you're like me with Croatia Europe, which is a bus ride away, for most of the other river cruise ships, it's about 5-10 minutes. It's not very far at all. That is Hans Christian Andersen. It feels like he follows me around. When I was in Denmark, saw him, didn't we? A little video here. And here he is in Bratislava, because apparently he made a visit here. I guess the final question for this video then is, would I recommend Bratislava both as an excursion if you're on a river cruise, and also a chance maybe to come over for a weekend? Well, I'd say yes to both. In truth, there are more things to see and do in places like Prague and Tallinn, but I quite like what I've seen, albeit in an hour of Bratislava, and I like the humour in those statues that we've seen as well. Next up on this channel, I'll be taking you to a town that's perhaps a little better known, Budapest.